is Julia, if you can recognize me underneath all this makeup. So I am going to be doing my first Halloween video of the year, and I realized I have never done a zombie look. And what I wanted to do with this one, I wanted to make it a little bit different than a lot of the zombie tutorials are out there. I mean, there's tons of them, and a lot of them are really technical with a lot of special effects makeup, making like, you know, the skin peel off and all that. And while those are awesome, and you can definitely do that, the reality is probably most people won't do that because they have to buy a lot of special effects type makeup, which can be really expensive. What I wanted to do is make a zombie look that's going to be not too expensive for you guys to recreate. There's basically only two sort of special effects products that you might have to buy, but they're really easily available at probably every Halloween store at this time of year. So the first thing that you're going to need is like a monster wheel. So these are like cream products that have kind of different colors in them. So what I did is I just mixed this white clown face paint with these different colors to kind of give you that gray deadish look. And the other thing that you're going to need is fake blood. Now I'm using one by Kryolan. Fake blood is also very readily available at this time of year at Halloween stores, and also if you don't want to buy this, there's tons of recipes on the internet on how to make your own blood. They use like corn syrup and food coloring and all that stuff, and the rest is just using regular makeup. So it's a really cost-effective look where you won't have to buy tons of stuff to do a zombie look, and I still think it looks pretty gory and gruesome and zombie-ish. So I really hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and if you do, I would really appreciate a comment down below. Also check out my Halloween playlist because I have done so many Halloween looks over the years. I think I have like 30 or something Halloween videos, so before you request looks, make sure to check that out. Definitely leave your requests below because this is my first video, and this year I'm like really stumped on what to do because I've done so many videos of this. So I'd be really keen to hear your Halloween requests if you want to see something specific. Let's get started. So I'm gonna grab that monster wheel that I was talking about with the white cream face paint, and I'm gonna be grabbing this grayish greenish color. I'm just taking a little bit with a spatula and mixing it with the white. So these are both cream face paints that you can get just like at a Halloween store, costume store, anything like that. They shouldn't be too expensive. And I used a damp sponge to apply that all over my face. You could totally use a foundation brush too. And this is going to give me sort of that deadish look. And you want to make sure that you also apply this down your neck, especially if you have a costume where that's going to be visible. So you can even just totally use your hands to distribute that. So next I took some of the blue and the greenish colors from that wheel, just anything that looks a little bit more deadish, and I'm taking that sponge and I'm going to be layering this over my eye. So I'm going to be using different colors, like there's not really any rhyme or reason to this. It's basically just kind of making your eyes look kind of gross and dead, and I also added a little bit of that just underneath my cheekbones just to kind of contour my face. And just kind of going back in with a little bit of that darker color. As you can see, I'm using a brush and then just kind of using the sponge to blend it out because I really want my cheeks to have that hollow, sunken in look to them. Then to make the eyes look even grosser, I'm going to be adding some of this reddish color. So this is kind of gives a bruisey, bloodied look to the eye. And I also added a little bit of that just around my mouth area because I wanted it to look like a zombie who's, you know, just taking a bite out of someone else. So you kind of just go back with different colors to make it look good. Like I said, there's not really any specific way how to do this. You can kind of just see how I'm adding different colors. Like I wanted a little bit more of that bruisey, bloodied look around my lips, so I'm just going in to grab a little bit more of the red and then adding that sort of on the edges of my mouth. You can even add blue or green or gray or any colors that kind of make it look kind of bruisey and disgusting looking right around the mouth area. So then I took some of this yellow, pukey green color and I used a larger sponge to stipple that around my face, and this kind of gives a very interesting texture because it has like a sort of unique texture on the sponge. So I put that all around my face so that it kind of has this stippled look on my face. And then I just intensified the eyes a little bit before using some setting powder. You can just use any powder that you have. This is just because you're using cream makeup, you want to set it so that it doesn't move around all night. Then I took some eyeshadow, so I'm using matte colors here. I used a gray and added that to my eyes just to intensify that deadish, bruised look. And then I took this burgundy reddish color and added some of that. And like you can see, I'm kind of being sloppy here. You don't want it to look perfect. You just want it to look kind of bruisey and disgusting. And I also added some black eyeshadow just to make them a lot darker. So I also added some red eyeshadow here just to intensify that red bloodshot eye look. Then I took some of that burgundy shadow and also added that around my mouth, kind of where I'm going to be applying the blood later. And then around my eye, I used this red gel liner because I wanted my eyes to look like bloodshot. And I applied that onto the waterline and then just all around the eye, kind of on the lower lash line and then on the top. So if you don't have a red eyeliner, you could totally do this in black. You might be able to use like a lip liner or something, just make sure it's eye safe. And I also added some of that red liner just around my mouth so that it's really going to stand out where the blood is going to be applied later. So I wanted to add a bit more texture, so I'm using this big brush, this big mascara brush, and just dabbing that kind of around my eye. And these little mascara smudges work perfectly for adding texture, and they kind of make the eye also look a lot darker. So I put that sort of all around the eye area and just used a finger to kind of blend it in. But it just looks cool. I also added a little bit of that just around my eyebrows so they kind of look a bit more darker and spooky looking. And I also did that a little bit around my mouth so it almost looks like dirt or something like that. So I wanted to do some of the makeup on my neck also, so what I've done here is just taken some of that gray and the burgundy color and added shadow, so I kind of just sucked in my neck. And then wherever the hollows are, I just added some of the makeup so that it kind of looks, you know, like hollowed out around your neck area, and you can use a sponge just to kind of blend it in. And now I'm going to be using some of the fake blood, and I'm using a Q-tip just to dab that around my mouth as if I had just taken a juicy bite out of my next victim. And yeah, like I said, if you don't have fake blood, you can probably make your own. Look up on Google, there's lots of recipes out there. I've looked already. And what I did now is I poured some of this fake blood onto a plate. As you can see, it's kind of thick, so it looks actually like real blood. And then I used an old toothbrush to kind of splatter it across my face so that it's not quite so messy. And you can just use the little pricks of the toothbrush to splatter the blood kind of all around your mouth. And also did it a little bit down my neck, and that just makes it look really realistic, I think. And then you can also go ahead and add more blood if you think it's necessary, and kind of all around the lips too. And then I used a setting spray. Now if you don't have something like this, I mean, hairspray will do in a pinch if you're just using it for one night, and it's just going to help the makeup to set. And I think then you're ready to go out and take a big chomp out of someone. So here I am getting into character for my zombie look. And I really hope you guys enjoy it and try it out, because it's definitely a really fun and creepy one. Make sure to check back on my Halloween playlist to see all the other Halloween videos that I've done. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a comment and a thumbs up on this video. So I will see you guys very soon. Take care.